I made a new friend at work, but now I realized she's been manipulating me.
She's not your friend.
Female, 22 at this point, started working at a company in 2020. This was my first real job. I saw a girl, let's call her Hannah, 22 female at the time, who smiled so lovely to me on my first day, and immediately I got excited to become friends with her. We had sat close to each other since my first day. However, she was distant. To respect her boundaries, I also remained distant. By the way, this comes from Glowing Days on the r/OK Storytime subreddit. So let me describe Hannah. Hannah works in our company as an operations specialist. She studied international relations and logistics. Her father was long gone to other women when she was a little girl. She grew up with her mother, but did not get along well. She has only one friend, not more, only one who lives across the world. She loves art and music, but really stands against collective activities such as concerts, festivals, and things like that. She loves to spend one-on-one time with her friends and hates to introduce her friends to each other. She is single for years, and I still believe she will remain so for a while. In the future, I think see why. I'm a fashion designer, but what I do is remotely linked to my actual job. I work as both a graphic and fashion designer in this company. I am so into fashion and complementary art about the fashion industry, and I try my best to become a part of today's fashion world. I am also engaged to my boyfriend of 4 years. In time, I gained a few friends from work. One of them, let's call him Marvin, male 24 at the time, was really close to this girl and introduced us to each other one day at work. We went to the seaside and talked about how our interests are alike. All of us got really close with each other and spent a lot of time together. In time, we've gotten closer with Hannah and just a few issues with Marvin along the way. It was just me and Hannah from there. Marvin and us grew apart. Anyway, I started noticing things that Marvin once warned me about. He always said she was a huge manipulator, that I must be careful around her. Maybe she might be lying to us about her sickness to become a main character of our group, wanting us to be more interested in her than our own or each other's lives. But I cut contact with him and didn't believe him because he lied from time to time. After this, Hannah and I almost entirely did everything together. We went to concerts that she finds suitable. We traveled from Italy to France, nearly 10 different countries we visited together. She made the most of the decisions because she always hated to do things that others wanted. I also spent so little time with my fiance during that time, who really didn't like her since the beginning. We went to fashion weeks, hiked up to the mountains, spent a lot of great time together. To this day, I still miss the times we spent together. However, near the end, it was unbearable to do any simple thing with her. I noticed that she tries to manipulate me into doing things I hate, I scare, I feel anxious and uncomfortable while doing it. I was miserable a lot in those memories, felt horrible and tired and always hurt. While I hurt my ankle, she made me walk 3 miles saying I was just whining and my ankle didn't hurt. She made me pay a lot and said, I will pay you in 5 minutes. I will Venmo it to you tomorrow, but never did.
Oh, she's the main character.
She made me remove every coworker from my socials because she doesn't feel comfortable with people seeing that I am with her and knowing what she does on her holidays.
This is very strange behavior. Why are you accepting this? Why are you doing this to maintain a friendship with someone you don't want to be friends with?
I think she likes her a lot.
After all this?
I think, not OP, but I think... Hannah? I think Hannah likes her a lot.
Hannah? Doesn't sound like Hannah likes anyone. Sounds like Hannah likes herself.
I'm no saint. I blame myself for doing all that without questioning. However, I am a certified people pleaser and had a weak personality. I blame myself for not stepping up, not calling shots, and not trusting my own free will. I know my wrongs. This was a mistake and won't happen again. Everyone around me said that she was bad news for trying to control me, manipulate me, but I didn't see that coming. I had no idea how she could do it so smoothly. However, there were 3 points that helped me realize that I had to end my relationship with her. First one was on a trip to Greece. We went to Santorini and stayed in a budget-friendly hostel. The hostel was a 5-floor building with a terrace on top. Our room was on the ground floor. We had to climb 5-floor stairs to dry our clothes. For a week, I climbed up and down several times a day, even though I had severe scar on my feet and wasn't able to walk normally. She didn't care that I was injured. She didn't care that I had weak lungs and could not climb that many stairs. When I turned back to our room, my legs and feet were really hurting and I dropped her perfume bottle. While I was trying to get the bottle, I dropped her clothes on the ground. She said that how could a person be that bad at everything and good for nothing?
Yeah, she's a really good
Ugh,
person.
this really hurt my feelings. This made me realize that I am always walking on my toes around her. I am not comfortable in anything I do with her. This is an awful place to be in. Something else happened on that trip, but needs a little backstory. About a week ago, we were talking about soulmates in life. I said that I love my fiance, but if I haven't met him, there was a guy who I barely talked to, followed him on socials, and I think he could be my soulmate in a different scenario. It was just girl chit chat. I showed her his profile, and she said I was right about the soulmate thing. And he even said my boyfriend and I are not alike at all. He and this guy and I would be a better couple. A few days later, on a random evening, she said that this guy, the exact guy I followed her on socials, and she asked me if it was okay for her to accept it or not. What can I say? I have a boyfriend. I didn't even meet the guy in person, and he also has a girlfriend. I didn't have any say in this. I said, do whatever you want, but it was odd for him to send a follow request to her a few days later. I looked past it. During our trip to Santorini, she was texting all the time with someone. I didn't bother to ask. I knew she wouldn't say it to me unless she wanted to. I respected her decision and waited for her to tell me. One evening, we were in a club and drinking tequila. I was shocked to my very core when I saw her texting him, the guy I showed to her. Said nothing but completely froze. She is highly against these kind of situations and always judge how people interact with another person's likes or boyfriends or flirts. I didn't know what to do. I spent the whole night with a pain in my stomach. Even though he was a complete stranger to me, I find it so inappropriate because I wouldn't have done that to her or anyone. With pain in my feet and a heavy burden on my chest, I cried myself to sleep without her noticing. I wanted her to talk to me first. If she would say, oh, I like him, so sorry for making you feel bad, in the beginning, I would respect her decision because who am I to say something to this complete stranger who has no relationship with me whatsoever? And she knew I would respect it, but she wouldn't if I did so. I said nothing and waited for her to come clean. She never did. To this day, she doesn't know that I know. The last one was when we were at the coffee house after work. Our trip to Santorini, we had an upcoming trip to Paris. Since we booked everything in advance, I went with her. I tried to forget about the guy since he was a nobody, but she was my best friend, and I did. After we came back from Paris, she said, oh, now I know exactly what I want to pursue in life after that trip. I want to be a fashion designer.
Hannah, get your own freaking life. Have your own freaking thoughts.
She's becoming one. She's becoming a one sentient being.
She's trying to copycat you, and then she's probably going to get rid of you and
She's
live your
gonna
dream
be
life.
you.
She found the blueprints of your life and said, that sounds so great. I'm going to do it too.
I like that. That's gonna be mine. No longer you.
I just looked at her and my jaw dropped. I knew she wanted to get furious because she tried to steal my dreams and wanted to enjoy being the right one, while I would be the jealous and angry one. I did the opposite and said, great. How do you want to pursue your new passion? She said, new? Oh no, I always wanted to become one. This was my one true passion in life, you know. No, I didn't, because she never said so. I realized that she did this a lot, trying to implement some new interest of hers as she loved it since the beginning. I tried to stay calm because in that moment, I realized she knew what she was doing all along. On everything she made me feel, every word she said, did it knowingly. I said, you can take courses to improve in this field. I can help you with it. And she looked directly into my face while saying, well, I wanted to meet with professionals who did this professionally, since for you, it's just like a hobby. I said, I try to defend my master's thesis. This isn't a hobby for me. You are the one to know it because you are the closest to me. I want to build my life on this. And her last words to me were, well, I don't think you do it for the right reasons, and I don't think you are doing it seriously. It seems like a hobby to me. And she said she doesn't think I fit well for the fashion business and that I'm not capable of doing it, while people like her who are so interested in this couldn't do so much. And you can do as much as search us up on your favorite podcast platforms for stories just like this. Just look up OK Storytime, and we're there. We have so many stories just as crazy as this one. Yeah, dude.
Maybe even crazier.
Maybe even freaking crazier. I want to find Hannah, put her in a box, and say, stay in it. That's all you can ever think about. Staying within the box. Dang, dude. That is such... girl, OP, stop being friends with her.
I can fix her.
Lastly, this is not being honest. This is completely hurtful. I respectfully said I wanted to go home. And the next day I said to her that I didn't want to be friends anymore. She was surprised because she couldn't imagine that I would step up for myself. Since then, I have never been so happy in my whole life. I learned my lesson and am not planning to give another chance to manipulators like her. Am I the a-hole for not wanting to be manipulated by my ex-best friend anymore? And we already know the answer. You're not the a-hole.
Duh.
Girl, that was crazy.
The fact that you called her ex-best friend,
yeah.
like you gave her that title,
dude,
not even
she
deserving.
She just like was leeching on you, leeching on your dreams, and like, I want to do that and just trying to break you down as a human being.
I'm going to be you.
What?
I am you.
That was stupid and crazy.
I'm no longer
Whoa.
Hannah. I'm you, OP.
Yeah. Oh, but that's the end of that story.